Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor Manning, and today I am interviewing Sade, and she can go ahead and introduce herself.
Hello to all of the beautiful people around the world. This is Sade Adu. I am a personal brand strategist, a speaker, and a coach, and the founder of SadeWhyYouDo.com. And my goal is to help women entrepreneurs live bigger and bolder lives and sell profitable digital programs, products, and services online.
Amazing. So, you have this nice intro and one liner, and you know exactly what you do, but let's rewind a little bit. How did you even get started?
Okay, so I have probably a weird story. I actually started my business when I was teaching. I taught internationally in the former Soviet Union and the Republic of Kazakhstan. And the month before I left my job, I started my business online. And I realized I loved traveling, I loved moving all over the place. So I needed to make money and be able to move around. I needed the freedom and mobility. And I knew there was something about the internet that I needed to tap into. So even before I knew about this entire internet space, I was like, I know how to put up a website. I learned how to do that. I got a certification to become a life coach virtually. So I knew about online and internet education because that was basically my entertainment for 3 years living in Kazakhstan when all the information on television is in Russian. And if you don't speak Russian a lot, you can't even watch Dora the Explorer. So I stayed entertained by looking on the internet and finding out information online. So I started it when I was overseas. I came back to the US. A couple of months later, I started school. So I'm a full-time doctoral student and an entrepreneur at the same time. I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to do both of those things at the same time. Both are equally hard, and both people who do both are crazy. So it was a very exhausting experience. Then I realized, I'm like, I've never done a business before. What am I doing? And then I decided to start investing in coaching. And then that is when the light bulb really went off. And I realized that I loved branding. And people kept coming to me. They were coming to me for coaching, but everyone that came to me for life coaching, wanted to start a business. And they said to me, I want to build a brand. Do you know how to build a brand? And I couldn't figure out why they kept coming to me about this. I said, what do you see in me that you keep saying this word brand or branding? I didn't get it. And I realized I was attracted to the business coaches that I was attracted to specifically branded themselves as brand strategists. And I was like, okay, I like this branding thing. But I was nervous to put it out there because I was like, I haven't, this is my first business. I don't have a degree in business. My background's in education. So people are going to look at me and say, how is she becoming a teacher and now she's doing this branding thing? Life coaching wasn't hard because I was doing life coaching / career coaching. And I had already had a successful career as an international educator, making comparable to six figures. I didn't make it, but it was very close to based on the lifestyle and what is it called? The exchange rate. Yeah. I lived very well internationally, and I was able to do a lot of great things, even paying off $30,000 worth of school loans before I came back to the US. So I was living awesome, great credit score. And I went back to school and started a business. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
So I just really, based on my background, I was like, how in the world can I teach people how to build businesses and brands? And I could not see the links, and it made me feel very, especially I started my business, I think I was 26. Maybe I was 25 before, and a month later, I think I turned 26. So I'm like, I'm in my 20s. People are not paying attention to me. They already think I'm too young. What? They're not going to listen to me. That's what I was thinking. And I was like, I can't believe I want to do this branding thing. And a lot of people at the time were like, oh, everyone wants to do branding. It got a really bad rep. Every time there's something in our industry that gets a bad rep. I think right now it's sales funnel strategist sometimes it's marketing. But when I started, it was definitely branding. Everyone's talking about branding. So you feel self-conscious and not confident in yourself. And that's how I felt until I had to just, you got to let that go. You can't worry about what other people are thinking. You can't have hangups over your age or where you're from. Just go for it and do it. And literally the people who are winning and are the people who stay consistent, who didn't let that other negative chatter stop what they were doing. They became and remained consistent.
Yeah. So speaking of that, because that's one of my favorite topics, because I started coaching when I was 20 and I was like, oh, great. Like, this is going to go amazing. Right. And I was like so self-conscious about it. And I think for me, I found support. I think it's part of my like personality. I'm just super ambitious and I'm just like, I'm going to do it. Or I'm kind of secretive too. So I'm like, I'm not going to tell anyone I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. That way, if it doesn't work, I'm okay. But I also had a coach who really believed in me too. So that's kind of how I pushed through it. So I'm wondering for you, what do you think really helped you get over that hump, as well as any other fears that you might have had going on in your mind, like the age, the fact that branding was like overrated, all that kind of stuff?
So definitely mentorship. So as someone who's in the academy, this whole online thing and being an online expert, they think it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And then when you have people who are in business, they're like, why are you in school? So they think being in school is insane.
Yeah.
So you have this, I have chatter and conflicts on both sides. So it was important for me to find mentors who appreciated both sides of me, that I was not going to quit school and that I was going to still run a business. So my advisor was extremely important because she's a speaker. She travels around the world. I mean, one time I was like, I'm going to be going to the airport a lot. She's like, well, I'll see you there. She travels all the time as a speaker, thought leader. So she understands that part, and she loves social media. So that was amazing, and having her support. And then on the entrepreneurial side, I looked for people who were academics or PhDs who also ran successful businesses, or high achieving women who also understood both aspects. And I looked for them for mentorship. And I have a really great friend who we love social media, and she's a university dean. And we talk about both all the time. So, and then investing in coaches who understand that. So all of my coaches that I have right now, I have about 3 that I work with, and I've worked with about 4 one-on-one. And all of them value when I say, I can't do what they're doing right now. I gotta go to the library. Or if I say, you know what, I can't go to hang out and go to a graduate school meeting. I need to go to a speaking engagement. I needed people who understood both of those, and we're going to be extremely supportive. So, and I had to block people who were on both ends who said, oh, you can't do both. So you have to be I tell people you have to invest in professional development, spending time with professional and personal development every single day. And I tell entrepreneurs at least 1 to 2 hours a day, you need to have brain time to put positive energy and things into your head, because every single day something crazy is going to happen. So a client is going to not pay or do something, or, a system is going to crash. You're going to realize you overcharged for something. So you need to, in order to be successful, you gotta feed your brain with positivity every day. And not being coached is really non-negotiable. Like you have to invest in yourself. It's so important.
Yeah, I totally love that, because I think one reason, whatever fear it is or whatever excuse it is, I think a lot of the times it comes from us scrolling through Facebook and seeing all these people who are totally different than us, whether it's the age or maybe they're like totally like screw school, screw college or whatever. And we're like, oh gosh, they're proof I can't do it. But you have to look for that proof that you can do it. And I think that can come from yourself, but it is a lot easier when you find somebody, even like, I never found a mentor that was like my exact age, but I just found people who really appreciated it, who were like, oh my God, that's freaking amazing. I was like, okay, you're my person. Like
Exactly. And that's what you need to find. So I actually had a conversation with Grant Cardone, and that was the question. I was like, I'm young. I just started my business, and it was on a platform called Blab that's no longer here. And he was just talking to people, and no one wanted to talk to him. So I said, I'll talk to him. And he was like, if you never told me that, I would have never known. And I said, oh, okay, this is coming from someone who's extremely successful. Maybe I need to listen to him. And that's another note. You need to have great discernment about who you get business advice from. So there are people who will say, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do you have the business that I desire to have? Why am I listening to you? So and sometimes it's going to be your family, your friends. You can't take business advice from everyone, especially if they don't have the business that you desire to have. So it definitely is an asset. And, some of the people who motivate me are like the teenagers who are in business. I was like, what was I doing at 16? And I've met a couple of them, some of my favorites. And I'm like, One girl, she's in the Baltimore area. Her name is Gabrielle Jordan. She's been an entrepreneur maybe since 12. She's been like Michelle Obama. She's been awards and all this other stuff. And I'm like,
Wow.
what was I doing at this? She does workshops and books. And I'm like, what was I doing at this age? So when I feel intimidated because, well, now I'm okay with my age. I think I'm a little bit older. People do still see me as young, but I think I've established myself as some type of person who can be an expert and help people. So I don't have a hang up about age anymore. But when I think about what can be accomplished and what's possible, I look at the young girls who are entrepreneurs and really doing well. Or I look at a Caleb Maddox, and Caleb is like, I've met Caleb. I'm like, Caleb, you're like 12 or 14 and look what you're doing. I watched a video of Caleb. He was closing like a $10,000 speaking engagement, and they didn't want to pay him because he was too young. And he was like, well, have you made 6 figures in a year? Well, have you been on Forbes, Inc., this? Well, have you done that? And he said, and they were like, well, do you want a speaker who's done X, Y, Z? And the person was like, yes. And he was like, well, guess what? You're speaking to him. Cut my check right now. And I was like, oh, he's like 14. Some people don't like that. He's like really bold. And I'm like, listen, I'm not even mad. You know, some of it, we need an ounce of that level of courage to be like, you know, charge our worth. It's okay to be compensated for your brilliance. So I look at the younger ones and I say, wow, they really inspire me to keep going.
Yeah, I think there's so much proof at this point that it's obviously possible. Yeah, I love that. Sometimes it's just that story of him closing that speaking deal is mind blowing, but so cool. Yeah, because I think confidence is a huge thing. You can get that outside proof or validation, but you have to get to a certain point. It seems like you've gotten there where it's like you just have that confidence where you know you're good enough, you know you can and are doing it. And even when you are making 6 figures or probably even 7 figures, it doesn't matter. Like there's going to be people, even if you're 20 or 30 or 40, there's going to be people who are doubting you, who are thinking, you know,
absolutely
bad things about what you're doing, whatever. Like it doesn't end. Not everyone is supportive, no matter how much success you reach ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. There will still be people who will be doubters and naysayers, but your job is really to find people who affirm what you do and believe in you. That's really the key to this, I call it the internet streets. If you want to be successful as and if you want to have a location independent business, you want to work from anywhere and have that freedom, you have to have resilience and be bold. And when people are telling you no, and you get all these discovery calls and people are saying no, 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 you got to keep on going.
Yeah.
You have to keep on going, because guess what? You could be 10 more calls away from the yes that you need. You could be 6 months away from something turning around in your business. And I remember I was about to quit because school was becoming too much and business was becoming too much. And I just could not balance my life business. When I was overseas, I lost 30 pounds. I gained like 25 of those back. I had, basically was bankrupting myself because I was investing everything into my business. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I remember it was October 15th of 2015. And I told my mother, I said, I'm done. I'm going to look for a job. I cannot do this anymore. And her birthday is on Halloween. And instead of me sending her a card, she sent me an encouragement card and was telling me all these positive affirmations. You're awesome. You're amazing. My mother's, that's her thing. And literally I went on Periscope. Periscope was definitely a transformational platform for me. And I went on there and I just talked about how, and I will tell you, I had like 40 discovery calls that month. So it wasn't like I couldn't get clients. I just didn't ask them for the sale. That's another golden nugget. I had 40 discovery calls. It didn't make any money because I forgot I was afraid to ask.
Yeah.
People were like, what? So I went on Halloween. I said the 5 scary mistakes that kept me away from my first 5-figure month. That was what the topic was, because I was like, October is going to be my first 10K month. 10K month, I'm going to get there. Even though I didn't even have consistent 5K months at that time, but 10K was going to be, I was going to make it in October. And I just talked about all the things that I did wrong. And from that Periscope, I invested in getting a virtual assistant who she said, you spoke to all these people. Did you follow up? Did you call them back and see if they were interested? She ended up doing it because I didn't have the courage to do it. And we closed some additional sales. And then that whole week, everyone said yes, from like October 31st to like November 7th. Everyone I spoke to just said yes. And that was my first $8,000 launch of a course. And from there, it just catapulted. So I didn't have a 5-figure month by myself until like that following February. But I just thought about October, I wanted to quit. And then having these amazing things just happen from there, I was just like, how, what if I would have given up 15 days before? That would have never happened. I would have never, and some clients even who I spoke to that week said, don't you have a course that you have out, a coaching program? Are you going to offer it to me? They had to tell me to offer it to them. And I said, I didn't know you wanted it. It's like, well, you got to ask me. And so that's the hang up. So that's another nugget. So some people are just waiting for the opportunity to work with you. So don't give up on your dream and keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And so since you are a branding expert, I would love to kind of ask you this as we wrap up, like for somebody who is new and maybe they're feeling like how you felt, or like, am I really an expert at this? Can I do this? Like, am I just crazy? You can just give us like the number one tip or just a couple tips of like, as far as like branding and establishing yourself, what are those first few steps you should take as like a total newbie who's just deciding to do it?
So know as a newbie, your brand will change. Yeah. You will be this, you will be that, you will change all the time. And that's okay. Give yourself room for elevation and changing and give yourself room to evolve. The 3 things I tell people when they're building a brand, number 1, you need to know who you are. So many times we get so caught up in what other people are doing that we don't own who we are. People want to work with people. They're looking for people they trust, they know, like, and trust. They're looking for authenticity. So you first need to know who you are. And and you can see just your evolution. When you came into yourself, things just started to happen. When you just started to be you, because I saw it happening. It's like a butterfly that's blossoming or something is blooming. You can see it. And I love what I see in entrepreneurs. I'm like, oh, I see it. It's about to happen for you. Because you can tell. When you're just okay with being yourself and you don't care what other people say, and when you're just comfortable in your own skin, even if it's not perfect, because none of us are, that is when you find that special spark. So be yourself. Number 2, you really need to know your audience. Stop talking to everyone. Stop thinking everyone cares about what you do, because they don't. So you got to get very crystal clear about your audience, speak to them, love on them, provide them with value and content. And then number 3, you need to have offers. If you don't have an offer and you don't sell anything, you don't have a business. So you do need to sell. Sales is okay. It can be sexy and fun. And if you don't make sales, you will have an expensive hobby. So if you don't want to have an expensive hobby, you have to make money. And it's okay. Making money is okay. Because I tell people you can do great things in the world when you have more to give. So those are my 3 main things. Know you, know your audience, and know your offers.
I love that. That was perfect. And so true. Those are really the most important things, as you've learned. So thank you so much for giving us all this knowledge, sharing your story. It's so inspiring. Of course, when I put this up, it'll have all your links of where to find you. But if you want to give us like the number 1 place to go.
Okay. So you can find me, since Taylor loves talking about building Facebook groups, I guess I'm going to invite you there. You can go to breakfastbranding.com, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and so is your brand. So go there and find me in my Facebook group. I also have an awesome freebie where you can find me, freegiftfromshade.com. It's spelled like shade. So free gift from Shade, and we'll give you my guide, 16 ways to build your online brand.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.